You know, it's not lost on me that a lot of lower budget kind of indie films tend to make you feel brand new things that you haven't felt before, because if they were much more widely accessible, broad appeal type of feeling that you would get, they would release them in theaters, like in a wider release. However, it never occurred to me that it would be possible for me to feel depressingly pleasant after watching a movie. Just who'da thunk? Cue the music. Hey, how's it going? How you doing, everybody? Welcome back. So for today, we have this teeny tiny little Austrian movie called What We Wanted. And when I say it's a teeny tiny little film, I mean the budget for this film was probably 3 boxes of Lucky Charms and a ring pop, like literally. However, does not mean that the movie can't still be very entertaining. Although this one, this movie you kind of have to be in the mood for, because yeah. Reasons. And one of the reasons is it's kind of a bummer, but it's also kind of cathartic, all at the same time. But anyway, the basic plot of the movie is it's about a couple that seems to be near the age of 40, but it doesn't explicitly say. Either way, late 30s, early 40s. And like many couples try to do, this particular couple was trying to have a baby, and they recently experienced a miscarriage, which is obviously very sad. And so to, kind of get away from the sadness, kind of take a break, they decide to go on a vacation at this little resort town. And at resorts, usually there's other people that are there, and there's this family of 4 that moves into the house right next to them, and it's in pretty close proximity. They can kind of hear through the walls. And eventually they start to commingle a little bit, but essentially this couple, I don't want to say they use the family, but the family kind of comes in as sort of a conduit for this couple to kind of come to terms with all the things that they're dealing with, if that makes any sense. And although that might not sound super interesting, from a philosophical standpoint, it's actually pretty interesting. Because as upsetting as it is to experience what this couple has experienced, the family kind of illustrates to them that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, no matter what path you choose, whether it's in life, with family, or really with anything, to be honest. And that's the core of kind of what made the movie mostly enjoyable for me, because it's a very slow movie, it's very personal, it's a very small budget character study, and not a lot of people generally are on board with that, but also some people are. And I happen to be one of them. So it's a very atypical movie, but I found enough layers that I could really get into it and really relate with the characters, even if I haven't experienced some of the things that they're going through. However, the downside is that the movie does feel very vanilla or very bland for the first half hour, 45 minutes, and you're just kind of sitting there kind of getting to know the characters, and not really a whole lot happens. But for the story that they were trying to tell, I think they accomplished their goal, because by the end of the film, I felt the cathartic experience that I think you were meant to have. I mean, obviously movies are up to interpretation, but from what I saw, I felt like I went on a little journey, and I was pretty well entertained by it. And from a technical standpoint, nothing too crazy. Again, this is a very straightforward movie, but it was fine. Everything was done fairly well, I would say. Like, the cinematography, I didn't notice anything particular about it, so yeah, that was fine. And the acting was pretty good. I felt all the emotions that everybody was giving off, and also the child actors weren't bad either. And I'm saying all this despite the fact that I don't speak most of the languages that are in the film. There is a few little bits of English, but the rest of it, you're gonna be reading some subtitles. And as far as the music is concerned, from what I recollect, there really wasn't any, as far as an orchestral arrangement type deal, but there were 4 or 5 pre-recorded songs that they used, and they were appropriately timed. They weren't overpowering or annoying, and they fit the tone, so they fit what they had to do. And I have to say, I actually really kind of enjoy the ending the more and more I think about it, because there's a few things that happen and there's a few resolutions, but there's also a bit of tension there still, and there's room for ambiguity, and I think that's a pretty good ending for a movie like this, because it feels like a complete movie, as in there was a complete arc that took place, but there's also a few little details that you're a little bit curious about. So yeah, it worked. But the main selling point of this movie, for me, for sure, was just the philosophical standpoint of whether you choose to have kids or you don't, there's gonna be good things and bad things and annoying things and not so annoying things. There's so many different variables to take into consideration. Like the family, their oldest son is a younger teenager, and he's just kind of mopey and doesn't like to partake, he's antisocial. But at the same time, their tiny daughter is just kind of this bundle of joy. However, she can get on your nerves after a while. And you kind of see those two things juxtaposed with a whole bunch of other emotions, and it's just, I found this movie very interesting, even though it didn't give you a whole lot to work with. So if you like making bricks out of clay, maybe this is the movie for you. But anyway, guys, I would say intellectually, this movie was very stimulating for me personally, but it was a little bit bland, and it maybe could have used a few more intricacies to it. So I think for a score overall out of 10, I think I'm gonna give it an 8.5. It's a very chill, very relaxed movie, so maybe if you're kind of in a winding down mood, maybe this is the movie to watch. But if you're not really into the slower, more patient types of filmmaking, maybe this is not for you. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Have you guys seen this movie? Heard of it? Hop in the comments, let me know what's up. And as per usual, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the bell, do all that other YouTube-y shenanigans. And I will catch you guys next time.